Welcome back to Stationeers, and today we're on Mars, and I thought I'd take a quick look at having some kind of indicator system in the base. So why do I need this? Let's just put this down for a second. Let me just drop you and drop you. So as I've said in previous episodes a few times, around all over the place we have filtration units, useful for all kinds of different purposes. A cheap pump, in which case I don't need an indicator system for that. Oh, there they go. And in other uses, they are used as filters, or they have filters in them. And there are occasions where that is extremely important, like this one. It's important I know exactly what level that filter's at, and without running around all over the base trying to find what all the various filters are set to, or what they currently have left in them, we have more of an issue. So yeah, that's down to 43%, for instance. And I would like some kind of indication for that. What are we going to do for that? Well, there's a few different things you can use. If we just have a look at the light kits, these kit lights, I should say, then there are a couple of options. We can build something that is called a diode slide. Looks like that. Okay. Or you can build something that looks like this. Yeah. Okay, so the diode slide, well, they'll both change color. It just matters how we actually do that. Probably differs in each case. So to take a look at that, let's first of all grab our little tablet, and we're going to change the atmospheric analyzer for the configuration analyzer. And I'm just going to go and replace a couple of batteries before I start the episode in full, because I almost run out whenever I'm doing this kind of thing. Yep, put you away, and let's just grab some of you as well. Not quite as important now that we have, a base with lights around, the majority of it, but it's still nice to have. So if we have this in configuration mode, if we have a look at these, you'll see, let's have a look, you have color. And that can be set to a number. Now the numbers for colors are on the wiki, on the online wiki, and you can decide to set them to whatever you want based on whatever criteria. So for example, we could say if the filter's below 10%, then we want to set red, and if it's below 20%, but not 10%, obviously, we want to set yellow and otherwise green, or something along those kind of lines. And on the diode slide, we don't have a color setting, we just have setting. All right, so it's probably some variety of the setting that we're going to need to change, and we may want to just, inspect that and make some changes. So first of all, I'm just going to go and grab my, tool. We have a nice power connection here. I don't think I'm going to need any more room than this, hopefully. Helps if I put these away. And then we can set up our computer as you normally might expect. Is that in the wall? I almost want a panel-mounted computer at some point. That'd be nice. Yeah, so that we can just mount it on a wall and access it as you might expect. However, this will do for now. Excuse me, I've got hiccups, sorry. Let's put you in, turn you on, and then we need power, obviously, for it to be able to turn on. Which is going to be straightforward. I just need to hook that to the rest of our power system. And then we'll just grab an IC, and we should be okay, I think. Let me just grab you. There we go. Yes, you're going to complain because you don't have any ICs available, probably, or something along those lines. We don't matter too much for right now. I need to go and print some more cable, I assume. Let's just make sure our system is gone onto this mode. Let's go and grab some cable down here. And, ooh, portable solar panels. That is now part of the starting stuff that you get right at the start of the game. Apparently, in order to charge your own batteries, you now get a portable solar panel. Would have been nice when I started the Europa series. Yeah, don't have that. I may have to spawn it at some point, but I think we've gone beyond that part anyway in the Europa series. If you haven't checked it out, also check the channel. It is possibly to the point where we're going to start thinking about the heavy suit next, which will stop the cold from affecting us quite as much as it was previously. So yeah, I'm going to print off some more coil. I'm going to hook up both of these LEDs in effect, although one's different obviously, and then we'll take a look at, if I can take a look now while all that cable is piling up. Probably far too much cable, but while all the cable is piling up, let's take a look at the filtration units. What do we have here? Error 0 on 1, power 1, required power 5. Interesting. That doesn't give me much scope to try and assess what the filters are set to. I really thought that data would be available, unless it's in error state. But if the error state is only whether the filter is dead or not, I'm not going to be able to get any kind of early warning, but at least I will be able to get a warning. So let me just look that up on the wiki and let's see if it's only the error state we can use, in which case the program's going to be even simpler. And in fact, we may even be able to get away with electronics instead of ICs. Back in a second. Okay, yeah, we can actually read more information. We just can't do it with a configuration computer, unfortunately. If we look at this, as I've seen before, you can't see the slots. That's sort of... I think we should be able to read slots with this. Maybe if we just point at the slots in future. It would be very, very nice if the device configuration had access to that information, because otherwise you're stuck creating a slot reader every time, and that's kind of against the point of having that configuration. So I created a slot reader. Straightforward-ish. And in here, you'll see I'm pointing at the hydroponics filtration unit. That's this. Still don't have a card that can copy and paste settings. Would really, really like that. Because we're going to need to be able to copy that all the way over here, which is on the main network. And who knows how I'm going to route. I may have to go through a cable all the way across the top here or something. That'll be the easy route anyway. But yeah, and that's just... shut off. Oh, the main atmospherics is shut off now. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, in here, in the slots, there are two. And you might think, naively, that this is slot 1, this is slot 2. It's not. It's the other way around. This is slot 1, this is slot 2. So, in my case, I tend to just put everything in the left slot. So I'll always be looking at, the slot 2 setting. And then there is a quantity property. In this case, it's 68, which is the percentage. There you go, see? There's the percentage on this. And then we can use that, well, you can use that value to essentially check whether we need to display a warning light. So it's quite simple, but unfortunately, to make it easy to read, you sort of have to, get a slot reader out, which we don't want to do really. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm not going to worry about this long term. I am, however, going to try and access this. Now, I think it's behind essentially a firewall of data right here where this area power control is. So what I may well do instead, and it depends where the main network comes in. Yeah, all of this is sort of subdivided. Let me just see if I can pull... I'm going to have to pull up the floor, aren't I? I would like to avoid that, but almost always I end up having to pull up the floor. And we've got to figure out where the cabling's going. We've got some cabling going that way. Do we have any cabling going back this way? How are you connected to the power system? 1 second. Okay, so in my base, everything connects sort of in this kind of area. So what I've done is I've just disconnected the data port from the back of here from everything else that's back there, because that's its own little subnetwork. And it comes out here into the rest of the bank of the other filtration units, so we'll be able to access all of those as well. We won't probably be able to access the... Maybe not. Let's just deal with this. Do you connect? No, I think I disconnected it. Yeah, so that's all on a separate network. So I can't look at this one, but that may be only a temporary thing anyway. So we'll be fine, I think. although we can also just mirror things with a few different bits of electronics to make it accessible to other networks, but I'm not going to worry about that just now. There's two things that can do that. One is just a memory chip. You can access either side without actually causing loops or anything in the circuitry. And the other one is a logic memory unit. Logic mirror unit. We've not come to those really. So I've got an IC housing and the integrated circuit. I did verify that we can read the hydroponics filtration unit that's just there all the way over here now. And just so you can see, the hydroponics filtration unit, gas filter, slot 2 in this case, and quantity, and that's 67. So since we can read that, well, we can probably get rid of this. Because, yeah, you know, who wants to use slot readers? I mean, don't get me wrong, the program's a lot simpler. You can just use electronics to use the slot reader and then write to this based on the value, but then that means more electronics comparing to a value and other bits and pieces where we can just get away with an IC housing like this and pop you in, turn you on, turn you on, and then this is the IC housing here. Let me just rename it just so that you get the idea. Let's just call it the filtration monitor. That should do. And it's set there as well. So you obviously see we are actually editing that program. We're going to import, and you'll see that it's currently set to a program. That was the decoding program. We're just going to clear it, confirm that, and export it back again. So we've just wiped the chip out essentially. And now what I need to do is attach these two things, and maybe we'll attach them to D4 and D5 because they're the last two. And then D0, let's attach that to the filtration unit. Remember, if you wanted to, you'd have another IC somewhere else and encode various values if you like, but you have to encode more than just zeros and ones now, unless you want a, hey, display warning now equals 1 kind of output. And that would mean, you know, anything below 20 or something like that kind of lines. You could get to zeros and ones if you wanted to do it that way around. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm just going to demonstrate it here, and we'll see where we get to. You should be able to modify it for your own purposes. So we're going to go view, and I need to go and click through these various things until I get to both of these and to everything else. Okay, and here comes the programming bit. So we've got some aliases just for D0, which is set to the filtration unit, D4 and D5. We've already got access to those. And indeed, an internal variable, let's just call it filter1. Remember, you could have multiple filtration external units. So, and in fact, let's just call that filtration unit 1. Okay, and filter state 1. Yeah, that'll do for now. Okay, so to start off, all we're going to do is load the information in, and this is where we get to the magic numbers about a slot that is an integer. You know, it's just random, but let's just load into a slot, load from a slot, sorry, into filter state 1. And if we have a look on the left-hand side over here, you see that's the first thing, the internal register. Then the device, so we're going to load filtration unit 1. And then we want to grab the slot and the variable. Yeah, so we're not going to know what that is, so I'm just going to try 1, so in the assumption that it's 0 and 1, i.e. slot 1 and slot 2, in sort of programming speak, and then we're just going to go and grab the quantity, and let's hope that's actually the case. So then we're going to then store that to the setting. It is that way around, isn't it? And the S command, let's just grab you. Yeah, and then we just want to load to the base unit the filter state 1, i.e. tell me what the state of that slot is, what the quantity state of that slot is, output it straight to the base of the IC and tell me what it is. And it's 67, so I guessed right. So the slots are 0 and 1 corresponding to slot 1 and slot 2 if you're on electronics, or if you want the left-hand side slot, you want number 1 in this code, and if you want the right-hand side slot, you want number 0. Now, if you have 2 filters in there, you might want a slightly more complicated code. All you probably want to do is just add them, and then you want to compare to 200, or you could average them, or various other things like that. That is simple arithmetic that you shouldn't need me to explain, hopefully. But if you really wanted me to demonstrate it, I'm more than happy to put it into a program. But that should be very, very simple. So if we already have that value, then we can compare against a sort of warning level. So if we just create an alias for warning, and let's just call it R1. And again, because we can't actually put constants directly on aliases, I'm going to basically move warning and then 20. I think that's the right syntax. Let's have a quick look. Actually, that's the other way around, isn't it? No, actually, it's fine. Yeah. So we're just setting a warning value of 20, and we'll be comparing to that. So now all we need to do, instead of just outputting that filter state, we really just want to compare and then set something on our slide or our LED based on, well, pretty much what it's currently at. So we need to compare if the value is below 20. And let's just also add another line here. Mustn't press enter, I need to press enter here. That's another line saying alias do warn. Yeah, I'm just going to call it that for now. Call it whatever you like, it doesn't really much matter. That's just going to be a 0 or a 1, just to make it so I can just store that value nicely. All right, so we're now comparing if something is less than another thing. So, in fact, we have something built in that does exactly that. SLT, regenerate equals 1 if A less than B, otherwise 0. So SLT, do 1, and A less than B, so we want to know if the temperature, the quantity, i.e. filter state 1, is less than warning. And then we can just output that db setting do 1. Is it that way around? Again, I never remember the exact db setting. Yes, it is. So that should be 0 right now. Yep, it's 0. And you can easily test that, whether that's actually working. If we just swap this around, filter state 1 here, filter state 1, confirm, export. Should be a 1 now. Yes, it is. So we know that is the right way around. And we can just get rid of that again and just add it on to the end. Warning. There we go. Again, we don't need this line. We're happy and we've gotten rid of the need for it. So now we need to look at what we can do with LEDs and with slides. Okay, so we can go back to that. I don't think these have slots, so hopefully everything should be available via this. So we have setting on the filtration slide. So you know what I'll do? I'm going to just set setting to 1 and let's see what happens. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to go back into here. And we've got the slide on D4. So we can just store here. And let's just go for a fixed value. Let's just test to see what it is. So store onto the slide setting, and then it needs to be an R value. So let's just, for temporary sake, because you can't just set a number directly like that. I wish you could, but you can't. Move. It's temporary, so R3 1 or something, and then we'll just set the setting to R3, and let's see what that actually does. Export. It goes green. Okay, so that only has presumably 2 values, green and red. And I have turned them on now just to illustrate they are actually lights. They're not just sort of things that are off. But to be honest, having that, as long as your base is lit, it'd save you some power on turning it on. It changes the color, so if you wanted to save, a bit of power, by all means, don't turn them on. But you will need to do that, I think, for the LED, but we'll see shortly. Because the LED, it has a color setting. The color is currently set to 6. Okay, so 2, 3, and 4 are the ones we want to use. And 2 is green, 3 is amber, and 4 is red, I think. So let's set this to amber. So let's set it to 3. And we'll just change this one line to say, set the slide, instead of setting the LED, and change the color. American spelling. American spelling. Sorry. My brain froze for a second there. And we're going to change it to 3 here, right to 3, and output. Amber. Or orange in this particular case, and you can easily change that just to verify. If we just change this to 2, it's going to be green, hopefully. Yep, same color, and red is going to be 4. Red. And quite nice it is too when it's on. So I think I prefer this one, and it's a bit more complicated code. If you wanted to use the slide, it's going to be very, very easy, because we've got a Boolean, 0 or 1, that says, should I warn? And all you need to do for that then, if you wanted, in fact, I'll leave both of them in, I guess, is store. So store onto the slide, the setting, do warn. And then that should go green, I think. Hang on, is that the right way around? Oh, it's still 1. Why is it still 1? I've not changed it back. I'm not storing anything. Store onto the slide, setting do warn. Do warn should be 0. I think. Oh, hang on. Is it less than the warning? If it is, it will go and set this to 1. And it's... Wow, that should not work. Hang on, let's just double check what this is right now. Then I can make sure maybe my understanding of the setting value here is different. So again, just to debug, setting, setting, do warn. Okay, and what are we setting that to? 0. Okay, so we know that we're trying to set the slide setting to 0, and it's going red. Fine, that's the wrong way around. So I guess we would do the opposite then. If you wanted to use the slide, just flip those two around, and then the whole thing will reverse and go back again. So if I just set the setting on the slide to back to R3, make sure I get this the right way around. I've probably just forgotten what it actually was. Set that to 1. Okay, and export. That's probably going to annoy. Setting. Why are you not liking that? Oh, hang on. I've just got R3. There we go. Yeah, so that's perfectly fine. So whenever it trips onto 1, it's going to change to green. Yeah, I just forgotten which way around that was, 0 and 1. Fair enough. So just flip the code around. I'm not going to use the slide. I'm going to use the LED. It's a bit more complicated code, and therefore I like it a bit more as a demonstration. All right, so let me just reset things, and then we'll carry on with the rest of the code once I've done that. Okay, with the code reset, I'm just using R10 and R11. I haven't labeled them. All I'm basically doing is using them as values here. Basically, if it's less than danger, and danger is 10, i.e. it's about to run out really, then we're going to do something. And if it's underneath warning, which is 20 at the moment, then we're going to do something else. Okay, so over here on here, we can say relative branch to line if something equals something, or various different things. What I'm actually concerned about is if A is greater than 0. So relative branch to line B if A is greater than 0. So BR GTZ or Z, whichever one you prefer. Basically, we're going to assess R10, because if danger is on, we're going to jump down to a new line to say I don't know, danger light or something. Yeah, danger light. Let's just call it that. And underneath here, we're just going to get danger light. Okay, and we are going to add a line that literally says we're going to set the LED setting, is it setting color, sorry, to it's going to be 2 green, 3 is amber, so 4 is red. So we're going to set it to 4, but I will need to put that into a value. So let's for now put it up here and let's just say, well, I guess we could just call them what they are. Alias green is 2. Sorry, I can't use direct values. That's quite annoying. Let's just say, I wish it was R2 now, but it's not R2. I need that for something else. So let's say R5. Keep them separate. Alias green is R5. Alias amber is R6. And alias red is R7. And then we'll just actually write those values in. So move green to be 2. You know, this really needs to be solved. No text editor in the world moves everything down when you press enter. Or at least none I've ever used. Move amber, move red, 4. It's one of my 2 top hates at the moment with, not as many hates with Stationeers, but the editor and the lack of a data card. So we've got those values in there. So then we can just go down here to the bottom, and we want to just set this, let's scroll down a little bit. We want to set the color to red. Okay. And that should be it, as long as I've got the syntax right. Store. LED, color red. Fair enough. And then we want to jump back to, let's just call it end here. Okay. Because we're only going to be assessing one of these things. Okay, so jump back to the end. So as we go through the program, we're going to assess everything. And then we're going to jump to danger light if that is correct. If it's not, it's going to carry on. So now we can just do the same thing. TZ R11 warning light. And while I'm here, I'll write a third one, which is to set the LED color to green. So if neither of them are true, it's going to go to green. And we can write the same thing down here. So warning light, set LED color to amber, and jump to the end. When I say end, I mean sort of end of this main function here. And then we're going to yield jump back to the start. So let's just confirm that, and let's see how well it does. It's green. Good. So we know that the value of it right now is 67. So if we just go in here and then change these things, so if I want to test whether it's danger, if I say danger is 70, then we know it's below that. And warning, let's say that's 80. Not that that should actually ever occur in this case. So everything should go red. Nope. Why are you not going red? 1 second. Have I done everything I want to? Filtration LED, you on. Let's take you to green. Danger, warning. Let me just work my way through that. 1 second. Very simple mistake. I just used branch relative instead of branch absolute. When we're just going to labels like this, use the absolute version, not the relative version. So literally jump to danger light if it's below 70, which it is. And if it's below 80, then but not below 70, then it will go to warning light because it would pass this first instruction and it would have failed this one, and then we'd head out to here. And just to test that, we can do that again. So we can just set this to 60 and this one to 70. And it should be now a warning because, yep, there we go. It's going to go yellow. So that's actually working. And all we need to do then is set this back to the actual values you want. So maybe 30. And 15, something like that. Yep. Now I'm using heavy filters, so that will give me more than enough time to actually be warned by this thing. Is there any way for me to clean this up a little bit further? I guess we could assign names to these R10 and R11. So just popping that up here, we just want 2 lines saying alias should danger light should danger is danger, maybe is danger. There we go. Is danger R10. And alias is warning R11. And we're definitely doing it that way around. Don't mix those up because we need to assess, first of all, the lowest value before we carry on doing the test. And then we can just go here and then say, you know, is danger. And is warning. And the same thing in the tests themselves. Is danger? Danger light. Or maybe that should rename that to light danger or something, but it's fine, it works. Is warning. There we go. So that is pretty straightforward of a program. We're really just translating the value and then deciding what to actually do with it. I've moved start up here to the top, but there's no reason for it to be up there, I don't think. We're not changing these values, and we can always restart the program if we're going to do that. So I can put start back here, and then we can just give it a little bit of line spacing. So there's our main sort of function, and although it's not really function, but yeah, main function, and we've got two others down here. Now there is other things that we can do to jump back. In particular, I did get a comment from someone saying you can store the location of where you were. Remember, I'm using jump instructions like this. Well, there is a JAL or 1, whichever one that is. Jump execution to line A and store current line number in RA. So what you can do with that is essentially jump out to a label or something along those lines, and then instead of saying jump to and then another label back in where you came from, you'd be able to jump to RA and you go back to wherever you left. So you'd literally just have a line that says jump start, and then it would go away to wherever a start was and come back again if it was a proper function like this down here. So yeah, do consider that in your programs. I'm pretty happy with this one. I've got a way to see pretty much immediately whether any of my filters have any issues. And you can consider about just turning this on and off regularly. You needn't necessarily, because these things don't need power, well, in fact, hang on. Yeah, no, they don't need power. You can set them to a certain color, and you can have maybe another circuit that just on a timer turns this on once a minute. And then you don't even need the power for this, potentially. Although, how are you going to time something with less power than an IC? I suppose you could set up a circuit to a clock circuit, but yeah, yeah, I might leave it open to you. Is there any way to save power on using this? Turning it on and off again, maybe? And if so, on a regular interval, doing a check so that this doesn't need to be on. Don't know, just a thought. Not necessary for the rest of the program. I'm going to copy this into Pastebin now so that you can obviously copy it into your own system and essentially take it apart and feel free to criticize as normal on comments. So let's just say harvester monitoring for that in my own personal source code library. Obviously it's still a personal account, so I can't really just share this one with you, but I will put it in a Pastebin. So I'm just going to copy that out, and we are pretty much done. So hopefully you get the idea now, and you've got a way to monitor filters around your base. The main trouble with all of this is largely not so much the program, which is going to be really easy for you to write. Obviously I did connect that to here, and simply you can monitor 4 filtration devices quite easily as long as you can connect to the data ports. And that's the trouble with the wiring. And then we've got, in fact, you can get to 5 because if I only use one warning LED, you can extend this program yourself to check all of them. And if any of them are warning, then you can just turn one LED on. Otherwise, you'll need one LED for every filtration unit, and then you can only monitor 3 with 3 LEDs on the output. Unless you go to multiple ICs and, you know, all the decoding and encoding stuff that we've talked about previously. Either way, I'm sure you can have a think about how you want to extend it for your own systems. Alright, so hopefully you enjoyed the episode. If you did, feel free to give a like, comment, and subscribe, and share as you normally would. Or you can also get notifications if you don't prefer if you don't prefer YouTube's slightly unreliable notification system, then feel free to follow me on Twitter @Greyduster, same spelling as the channel name, and you obviously can get notifications there about new episodes, and of course ask me any questions that you want to. Other than that, as always guys, thanks for watching.